Hi, my name is Mark Kashman, and I'm a Senior Product Manager at Microsoft, focused on a lot of what we do and offer from SharePoint, and a lot of that is around collaboration. I wanted to spend a little time today demoing a request that I've gotten a couple times internally recently around making training that's been delivered live in an on-demand consumable format using SharePoint pages, like a mini dashboard for the training, the video, the PowerPoint, any related links, highlighting who the presenter is, and just any related material that just makes the consumption in a nice on-demand format, ways that you can share it through SharePoint in Microsoft Teams, and in fact publish it as news so you get that greater coverage and awareness if that's what you want to do with your training. So I wanted to start by just giving a little overview. Page authoring in SharePoint in the context of publishing gives you a tool, and you can use it as much as you want in any SharePoint site to create a page that distills everything that you want to convey, puts it all into context, and of course can be a really nice multimedia rich way to tell your story, or in this instance, this scenario, to retell your story. This is something that you can share in a very targeted fashion, or you can do it in a very broad fashion. Again, it's just a SharePoint page on the site that you choose. You can make it a page, you can publish it as news, you can really influence what the page authoring and consumption experience is. We have a lot of tools, web parts, page layouts, stock images that all are there to help you create the page that you want, and of course to make it look as nice as it can for what you're trying to convey. There's a lot of things that play into where the page is located, who it's targeted at, and certainly where you choose to then publish the page. Ultimately, it might be a tab in Teams to highlight to your team specific training that you provided or that you came across and you want to share that. But really, this is focused on creating that really nice page experience to consume all the material that went around the training. Just to highlight a little bit of when you convert or maybe initially publish your page as SharePoint News, the intent is then to raise awareness more broadly. It's great to have a page in a site if that's where people go, but it might be that people consume pages and news in other places so that they stay in the know. They may consume it through their SharePoint start page experience. They may consume it because you highlighted it, like I mentioned, as a tab in Teams, but it's really a way for you to publish out to a lot more people or to where they already are. That just may be that they get their news as a summary at the end of the week with the SharePoint news roll-up capability. Either way, once you publish the news, and I'll highlight it in the demo, it really goes out and reaches your audience where they are, and it gives you that increased visibility and that two-way dialogue that begins so that you can start the conversation by sharing your training and then get feedback, or if people have questions on the training, a way for them to engage. But it's a really great way to take a page, publish it as news, and even to the context of you can schedule your news. If you built the page maybe in the evening time, you might want to publish it in the morning time, so you could schedule it for that next morning and target it to your heart's content, to that audience of that site, or to keep it very broad so that anybody in the company could access and view your page. So with that, let's dive in and look at what it's like to create a page, publish it as news in the context of on-demand training after the live event. So to start the demo, I'm going to start with, I think the most important thing is, where do I want this page to live? This particular demo is going to showcase some internal training that we did on Microsoft Lists. And again, in that context of on-demand, I want to make the video available, the PowerPoint available, and any surrounding supporting materials that I think will be helpful to anybody who consumes the training. So I want to align it with where I put a lot of our internal Microsoft Lists assets or resources. And it happens that I had a Microsoft Lists group that has a connected SharePoint site, which you see here. And I've made it public so that there might be a number of people that are creating the content, but since we've now way past disclosure, we now put materials here so that the rest of the company can consume them. Even if they're not a part of the group, they'll be able to access the content. So I want to initially go and create a new page. And I'm going to start from blank and just start adding the components and really walking you through what it's like to build a page, and again, in the context of training. So I want to add an image at the top, and I have one in particular that I'm going to upload that's very relevant to lists. But you'll see when you choose this, it'll start to become what it is that your page will look like and how you can set the context even with that starter image. I'm going to call this what we called the training, and I've just got a copy paste here working with Microsoft Lists, and it's going to be me that publishes it. Some things that you can do further with working with the title area is you can navigate around and kind of get the look and feel that you want. If you don't have an image, if you want to highlight the full image, I like this overlap. And then I like to add this badge where you can type in something that, if you notice above the title, it kind of adds this purple badge. And you can type in whatever you want. You can align it into the middle. You can align it left. I can choose to show the publishing date. And I'll leave it at that. I'm pretty happy with what I have here. And I'll add some alternative text for good accessibility. But my title region is starting to look good. So what I want to first do is add a new section, and I'm going to choose to do a 2-column layout. And to the right of that, I'm going to add the ability for me to have a vertical section. And then I'm just going to start populating it. The first thing that I want to do is I want to have just a simple text block that's going to be where I talk about what this training is. Now that it's on demand, I'll add a little what is the training. So I'll put in the abstract and give this a bold and an underline. And then one of my main assets is the video. So I put the video in stream. So I'm going to use the stream web part, and I'm just going to grab the URL. And as you can see here, this is where I uploaded the video. This is in stream, but I want to bring it and again add context to it in the page. So when I go in and I choose to add a single video, I'll post that link to the video, and you'll see it'll automatically start to create and pull in so it's playable right here. And I will say on demand list training. Now the next thing I want to do is add another 2-column layout in another row, so it keeps this kind of one section, the next section. I want to add that PowerPoint that we used, and so I've got this. And one little thing here is I went in and I already created a link that was a view-only link on a document that I own and manage. So it's telling me it's not from this site, but it's coming from where we posted some of that material when I was co-authoring and working on it with my colleague. Then I want to go in here and I want to add who are the presenters. So I'll use the people web part, and I'll add myself, and my co-presenter was Andrea Lum. And you can type in whatever you want there. To add a little flavor to this, I'm also going to use this now right-hand vertical column to add a couple of additional resources. So I'm going to add a quick links web part and add a couple of links. So this first one is to our main resource center. And when I insert this, it'll prompt me to give that a title if I want to customize it. So I'm going to give it a better title, Lists Resource Center. And then I want to list this as public. I'm going to choose a unique icon, and I'll just put this in as and then add 2 more. So now I've got a set of 3 quick links. I can reorient them. I think the list resource is the one that I want on top, then the adoption center, and then and I can update this. And then down below, I want to start to jazz it up a little bit by using the Twitter web part. I have 3 relevant tweets that I want to highlight. I can highlight a whole Twitter handle, but in this case, I just want to highlight a couple of tweets. So I'll put one, and then another. So now we have some resources, some additional tweets, and just some jazzing it up a little bit. And then the last thing that I want to add here is a little bit of ways where people can actually have a two-way dialogue or ask a question. So in this instance, I'm going to use the Yammer web part, and this will be our conversations web part. And then to set this up, I want to highlight a community. I'm going to type in our community that we use to manage internal questions around um, Microsoft lists, and that's the SharePoint community because the evolution of SharePoint lists into Microsoft lists is where a lot of that mind share and subject matter expertise was. And I will say, ask a question to the lists community, and we'll just put in that it's SharePoint related. And so with that, I want to just save this as a draft and give you a sense of what this page looks like. And there we have it. We've got the page. It's looking pretty good in the way that I want, and I can just hit a little refresh and give you a sense of that final look and feel. Quick links, tweets, video, all looking good. All right, so now it is time to publish this, which will make it available. And now my page is live. One of the nice things as you're finished that will help is if I wanted to add this as a resource on this particular site, I can click this button and it'll add here now as a left-hand navigation element. I can post this as news on the site, so I will do that. And this is now going to push out this page as news, and I'll show you where that appears. And I can also just send this as an email, and just to keep it simple, I'll send it to myself, show you what it looks like, and send that. So there's a lot of ways to keep connected to make more noise and awareness of your page, and even the simple things that you need, being able to copy the address. And now that this page is live, I'll show you what that will look like. There's my new page. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into Teams and start a conversation with my team to raise awareness that this training is now made available on demand. So if I go in and add a tab using the SharePoint Pages app, from this site, I should now see that new page we just created working with Microsoft Lists. Click Save, and I'm going to leave this checked because this will create a new threaded conversation automatically. And when I click Save, you'll see now we have this new tab. Here's our page rendering inside of the Teams experience. Our abstract is intact. I can play and watch the video in line. I can navigate the slides if I wanted to and see what's available to me. And you can see that here is all of the things that I built into this on-demand version, even in addition to that engagement using that Yammer feed. Now, if I really want to see what this looks like inside, I want to expand this. I can see it in its full fidelity. Got the vertical right-hand rail, and I've got all the things intact. So anytime you're in any page that's a little bit like a mini dashboard, go to the full expanded view and you'll have a really great experience inside Microsoft Teams. And then here, I'll say hi to the Microsoft Lists group. Lists training now available on demand. And like that, the conversation is started, the page is live, and if I go into the posts, you can see that I've now started this new tabbed conversation around the Microsoft List page, which is now a news article as well. And I've called to attention my team and anybody that now wants to work with this page. Click into it, have a great experience here in Teams, or if they were on the site, they would now see it in the navigation element if I go to the home. And you can see now our new page is also a part of the SharePoint page experience, even to the extent here I can go in and have a nice full width experience, consume the training, ask any questions, navigate to any of the additional materials, and all is good. So I hope that helps give a sense of what it's like to create a page in SharePoint and around this specific scenario around making a training that was delivered once live, but now made available on demand with all the rich resources surrounding it to give a really nice on-demand experience in addition to that two-way dialogue.